asking a simple question. What if I said to you right now, what if I said, I want you to imagine just for a moment, someone comes to you with the following investment opportunity. The person says they want you to put up 100% of the capital, they want you to take 100% of the risk, and if it makes money, they want 60% or more of your upside over the life of, gosh, tell me what you're investing for. People say, well, for the future, or they'll say, to get my assets to a large level. They say everything but what it really means. Well, the first thing you want to teach anybody, a child, a kid, anybody, is that you'll never earn your way to freedom. You just don't. You look.
Hello and welcome to Commit to More, where we believe people have unlimited potential and that true success comes to those who commit to more than they believe they're capable of. Today, we're going to learn from the legendary Tony Robbins and our take on his top 5 tips to achieving financial freedom. If you hear something that resonates with you, please leave a comment below and make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thanks and enjoy learning from Tony Robbins.
Well, the first thing you want to teach anybody, a child, a kid, anybody, is that you'll never earn your way to freedom. You just don't. You look around and you see, Kurt Schilling, if you remember from Boston Red Sox, made $100 million a year. He's broke, bankrupt. I asked Warren Buffett, I said, what made you the wealthiest man in the world? And he smiled and he said 3 things. He said, living in America, great opportunities, having good genes, so I lived a long time. Start out by saying, let's you and I become the insider by starting to understand how this system works. And let's do it by just asking a simple question. What if I said to you right now, what if I said, I want you to imagine just for a moment, someone comes to you with the following investment opportunity. The person says they want you to put up 100% of the capital, they want you to take 100% of the risk, and if it makes money, they want 60% or more of your upside over the life of your investments over decades. They want that to come to them, even though they put up no money and they took no risks. Are you going to make a deal where you put up all the money, take all the risk, they take no risk, put up no money, they get 60% over time of your money? You'd say, I wouldn't. You don't have to think about that one. That one's never going to happen in a million years. Really? Let me give you a clue. If you own most mutual funds, that's the deal you've already got. They say, how is that humanly possible? Because people don't know what they're paying in fees, and they don't understand the power of compounding. But if you really want to have freedom, then what you have to do is you've got to take that percentage aside like Theodore Johnson did, and you've got to just say, this is for me, this is my freedom. There's a part of what I earn, as basic as it is, we all know this from investing, there's a part of what I earn that is mine and my family's to keep and no one's going to touch it and I'm going to grow it. But I also believe that where you put that really matters. And so indexing is the most basic way to do it for sure. But what all these investors showed me is asset allocation is where the difference is in business, right, in life. If you look at it, the 4th key we talk about in the 4 steps is you got to really understand asset allocation. Because when I was with David Swenson, Dave said, Tony, I said, what are the dials you can move? I mean, there's a limited number of dials you can move to increase your returns, to get to your financial freedom faster. He said, Tony, there's really only 3. He said, you can make a better choice selection of the actual investments or the securities. You can have better timing, or you can have better asset allocation. He said, let me give you a clue. The first 2 will never happen. He said, because they cost money if you get them from somebody else, and everybody's wrong on timing, everybody's wrong on the stocks. This is where all your money is made as asset allocation. Gosh, there's so much. I think this concept of asymmetrical risk reward, which I got from multiple of these multi-billionaires that started with nothing, the idea that don't think in terms of taking huge risks to get huge rewards. Think about the least amount of risk for the greatest reward and be disciplined about that. I've created out of that kind of like core 4 for even my own designs of my asset allocation. I look at everything, and my first question I do with my advisors is I go, okay, show me how we're not going to lose money. Because I've learned that from these guys. It's like every other time I go, how are we going to make money at this? How are we not lose money? I mean, Richard Branson, when he was starting Virgin Airlines, he's a risk taker with his life. I mean, the guy, he does crazy stuff we all know about, but he's not a risk taker in business. His whole question is, what's the downside? How do I protect it? And so he went to Boeing and got them to agree that if he wasn't successful in the first 2 years, he could give the planes back and have no liability whatsoever. That's the way these guys think. So, how do we make sure it's not going to lose money? And then out of that, it's really asset allocation. Where's the asymmetrical risk reward? If it's not asymmetrical, I'm not in. And then thirdly, of course, I'm looking at this for tax efficiency, because you only get the money you get to keep. It's not what you earn, it's what you keep that you get to spend. And then fourthly, I look at diversification at all levels, not only within asset classes and individual assets, but also worldwide, and in timing. Because no one's going to be right about timing. No one's going to be right about selection. And I learned that by being around them. So I look at that as my basic core four, and the asymmetrical risk reward and the discipline about not losing money are huge, even though they're very simple thoughts. Fifth, you got to make sure you have an income for life. If I asked you, gosh, tell me what you're investing for, people say, well, for the future, or they'll say, to get my assets to a large level. They say everything but what it really is, income. The only reason to invest is someday those assets have to turn into income or you have nothing. The first half of wealth is building it, right? Climbing the mountain. But there's a stage of your life where you want to be able to ski down and enjoy your family and friends and hang out. And that deaccumulation phase may be the most important part of all. And if you're building it and keeping all your money in these assets and they drop 50% at the wrong time, it doesn't matter that you want to hang on. You don't have the money you need. So one of the big things I focused on is to show people that it's not just get in the market and stay there. You have to understand how to create an income for life that's protected.
Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video. We'd love to know how you plan to implement these strategies into your life in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We hope this information has inspired you to commit to a better life. Until next time, thank you for watching.
It's great to have you. Let's talk about people's feelings about money. It is complicated. It's often self-defeating.
Yeah.
What do you find that people get wrong when they think about what money means to them?
It's such a charged subject, that people tie it into spirituality, good, bad. And I think the first thing you have to do is you got to get yourself in the game. I mean, you got to understand the game is still winnable. I think for most people, like you said, it's so complex. And frankly, the financial industry makes it complex. When a person with experience, as we all know, matches a person with money, the person with experience ends up with your money. So a lot of very financially astute people are not great investors. To be a great investor, you have to be able to make decisions without perfect knowledge. In your business, you have a lot of knowledge. You can make those decisions. You're in control. Not so much so on the investment side. So the first step is not to wait till you have a huge sum of money, because the illusion is, when I have more money, then I'll invest, then it'll be worthwhile. The most important thing is get started with whatever you have. Because if you do that, you get to tap into the power of compounding we all know about, but very few people use. I'll give you an example, a guy named Theodore Johnson. You probably never heard of him. Worked for UPS. Never made more than $14,000 in an entire year of his life, and yet when he retired he had $70 million and he didn't inherit a dime. So how do you do that? A friend of his said, you've got to stop being a consumer and you've got to become an owner. You've got to become an investor. And he said, I have no money to invest. I make $14,000 a year. And his friend said, no one has money to invest, but if the government came by and put a 20% tax above what you're paying now, you'd scream, you'd yell, and you'd pay it. You'd adjust. I'm going to make you a wealthy man. He took the 20% off the top, never let him see it, put it straight in the investment account. It was worth $70 million, compounding by the time he was in retirement.